And welcome back to eBEFOREi Video Reviews. Today we're taking a look at the Warbotron Swindle. Actually, it's not Swindle, it's a third-party release. It's not officially a Hasbro or a Takara product. It's a copy of a figure that we loved in the 80s, and since then as well. So this guy forms the mighty Warbotron Bruticus, which is huge. It's gonna be massive. And so we're going to take a look at this figure and see if it's worth investing in all these guys, 5 to be exact, to form the mighty Warbotron Bruticus, or should you pass on this? We'll find out real soon. Let's take this over to the high-def table behind me and take a closer look at this Not Swindle. So here he is up close in vehicle mode, and look at the detail. Now again, this is a recreation of a Generation 1 figure, and the detail really models what this thing would have looked like had it been a fully featured Jeep thingy. It's a Hummer, I believe. But looking all the way around, the in-plastic molding is great. The back, maybe the weakest bit. Tail lights are cool there. Now, this part kind of looks unfinished. If you look at it just right, it sort of reminds me of Gas Tank. Maybe I'm stretching a bit there, but sort of. Let's take an even closer look. The in-plastic mold here is great. Look at this little detail. It's almost got like a shock built into it, like a tire shock. That is cool, because it's just a piece of plastic molded to look like that, but it's just a really awesome, nice touch. Looking at the top, there's some separation. Those panels are on slider joints, so you could probably fix that. There's a good look at the front, and paint detail, windshield wipers, some lights right there on the top. Very cool. The windows paint, it's okay. Tires painted in, look nice in the rims, and then again, this sort of unfinished back. Let's flip this turtle over, get a look at the underbelly, and there's the underbelly. So there you go. He's got his, very clear that there's a waist, some legs, but the rest of it's pretty well hidden. The head's right there. But the rest of it is pretty decently well hidden, and you can tell that there's some nice things going on here. A cool thing, you do get a bit of tire movement, so you can sort of turn the wheels. Not really a whole lot, but you can turn them a little bit. But that's the overall look at the vehicle. It looks very, very nice in my opinion. Let's take these weapons off and take a closer look at the weapons themselves. Unfortunately, the directions don't tell you the name of these weapons, so we'll call this the purple fusion thingy. Nice detail. The black plastic is pretty standard. Doesn't feel cheap or anything. There's a dual handle, one with the smaller peg for vehicle mode, and one for his robot mode. We'll get into that in a moment. Transparent plastic there in purple. Looks good. Again, I don't have anything negative to say here. Nice silver paint on the tip of the weapon. Good in plastic molding overall, not a bad thing. Now this kind of looks like a Han Solo pistol, and it's got the sight on top. Overall, just kind of a generic blaster looking thing, but it looks good. I don't have anything negative. A lot of holes in it. I suppose that would be negative. So that's his 2 weapons. Now the first figure, this is the Blast Off, or the Not Blast Off, came with this great looking comic, real glossy. Great artwork, and then the instructions were included in that. Well, now reality kicks in. That junk's expensive. So what we have here is, yeah, there's no comic. It's just kind of a flimsy piece of paper with a whole bunch of steps on it. The transformation, per the instructions, looks a lot more complicated than it actually is. So that's a good thing. And then here's the leg for Warbotron. Now the little foot component is not included. It's just not there. And neither is the little joint that attaches itself to the foot. That is also not included, so I suppose we will get that on a later Warbotron release, most likely Onslaught. Before we transform, let's get some quick size comparisons in. That's the original Generation 1 Brawl from Bruticus, and you can see that they're just huge now. So these guys are about Voyager size, and you certainly can tell. Here he is next to Transformers Prime Wheeljack. About the same length. Wheeljack's a deluxe figure, but there's so much more meat to this version of Swindle. Let's compare him up with his bigger brother Brawl from the Warbotron series. He's about the same size. And then Blastoff's just huge. Very, very big shuttle here. He's just a really big figure in his vehicle mode that in robot mode they end up being just about the same size. So I'm very, very happy with the size of these figures. And Bruticus is going to be large. Let's get transforming, as they say where I live. So you just got to pop the panel out like that. We're going to go ahead and do that on the other side. Now, here's where you have to be careful. This is some of the unfortunate business when it comes to third-party releases. This next piece is tabbed in really tight, and if you pull on that too hard, I'm afraid you're going to do some damage to your figure. You can wiggle it loose, which is what I'm about to do here. You can also put in a very small, thin, almost like a glasses type screwdriver, but don't let your kids do this. So I very carefully did that off camera, and yeah, it's just, I didn't break it, but I could see how that tab could snap off. So you just need to be extremely careful. Big warning here. Do not snap your figure, because that would suck for you. So don't do it. Wiggle it across, or again, you can also use a tool, which I'm going to go grab right now. Trusty, not rusty Leatherman tool. I just pried that open. So you can take that and it comes open just fine. Again, just be careful. So to continue transformation, we're just going to put the doors up and out of the way. On the tip of the door, you just want to take that piece and fold it in like that. Want to fold it one more time. And then you can leave it as is for now. So again, we're going to fold this piece in like that. Then fold it backwards and just kind of get it out of the way for now. You want to grab the legs. You want to unfold them, typical Transformer style. Just take them and unfold. You've done this a million times. So this is no different. Then separate the legs. Now you've got these big old hollow gaps back here, so we're going to go ahead and fill that in. It's a decent bit of transformation here. You want to reach in here and grab that panel and pull that down. Take that back piece and pull that down. And what you end up with is a thick-looking leg, albeit hollow. But yeah, you end up covering that space. So when you look at it from all angles, it looks nice. Is it a bit of a cheat? Sure. But it looks nice, so I don't really care. You want to hold down the foot, pull the heel back, and really you finish. That's all there is to the leg transformation. Again, it fills in nice, and as we do some camera angles around the completed figure, you'll see that it looks really, really good. Gonna do the same thing, rinse and repeat on the other side. Foot down, heel back, and we have formed the legs. Let's move on. Now at the top of the figure, we're gonna take the wheels, and they're just tabbed in right there. Just wanna pull the tabs down, real easy to do. Now you wanna take the arms, change angles, and just reach in there and pull the arm out. Now you've got a tab that goes into the hole. So you just introduce them, give them drinks, and snap them in. When you finished, you've got very tight, just shoulder joints. They're not going to pop out on you unless you pull it really hard. Let's move on. All right, so you can take the arms and you can pull them straight back. Just again, kind of get them out of the way. Separate the hood. You're going to fold these things down, and there's no real specific order to do this in, but for now, just kind of separate it and get it out of the way. Now you're going to take this whole top bit, push it down, snap into place. There you go. And you form basically the top of the figure. Now we want to take this part, and you can see where it connects in. We want to lift that up, and that's actually going to rotate around to the back. This grill moves, but you're not really going to do much with it right now. So just leave it like it is, grab that front section, pull it back. So we've unsnapped here. And you want to actually take, and that reveals the real chest, by the way. So you want to take that and you want to clear that behind the robot head, but you're going to bump into it until, see, it's just not going to work. You've got to take that black piece and lift it up. So there's a black piece right up on top. Lift it so you get plenty of clearance for that head. It's a beautiful head at that. So you want to take that and just move it to the back. And we'll go ahead and complete the backpack. The instructions aren't super clear on what to do with this, but the proper way to transform it, that got unpegged on me. Let me snap this back down. Okay. The proper way to do this is to keep that separated like that. And you've got everything folded up. And you take this back piece and you pull it down. And actually, here's where that slider joint comes in that we were talking about earlier. So you want to take that and you want to slide it back inward so that these pieces fit together real nice. So you still, you do end up with a backpack. There's no way around this, but in a way, it sort of reminds me a bit of the backpack on Masterpiece Sideswipe. So it's not completely terrible, but you'll just see as we keep moving forward. So I'm going to peg everything together and fold the side pieces in, take this back piece and pull it down, and take the grill and just kind of, you don't really attach it, although you could. You could try to stick it right into that one slot. But that's the back. Let's keep moving on with the transformation. So we're going to turn them around to the front, and you can see we're really, really close to being done. Just move that piece more on the inside. All right, we're going to flip down the arms. Arms are flipped. Flip again. Now you want to go ahead and bring out the hands. Now here's a flaw with all of the Warbotron figures. These hand joints, too tough. That screw is too tight. It's incredibly too tight. So go ahead and pause this, grab a screwdriver, unfortunately. It's a one-time change, but you gotta do it. Got my leather man again. Excuse me. I don't know why. Every time I pick this up, I talk that way. I just want to give that a good screw, and this still isn't enough. So I'm going to do it some more. Twisted the screw a little bit more. Yeah, I did, and now it came out just fine. Note that you are going to have to take a screwdriver, and you are going to have to loosen that joint up a bit. Look at the stress mark in there. That's not what you want, kids. You don't want stress marks in your new toys. So there's that. Now, from this point, you have a choice to make. You can display this guy like some pictures depicted, official pics by the way, to where the purple bit is on the outside. And to do that, really, you just close this hatch, turn the whole thing around, turn the fists around, and this is how he's displayed on a lot of official company artwork pics. He's also displayed in the instructions the other way. So we'll do it both here, and you can choose what you want. Fidget with the wheels a bit, figure out how you want to put them, and really, we have finished with our figure. And there you have, there he is. There's SLY STRIKE in his robot mode. Would you buy a used car from this guy? I probably would. I probably have. Here's a look at the figure all the way around. Yes, there's a backpack. It does not look that bad to me, really. All the way around, this guy looks wonderful. As usual, let's take a closer look at SLY STRIKE's detail. The head sculpt is a nice mix between the Generation 1 head and the Transformers animated head of Swindle. Look at the light piping. As per all the Warbotron figures, the light piping is wonderful. Those eyes just pop under certain lights. Head is on a ball joint. It does look very nice. Looking at other details throughout the body, chest is detailed nice. That silver paint on purple with the black bits in there really looks wonderful. In plastic molding everywhere, looks great. Black, there's the tan, blue, and silver on the legs. Let's spin them around a bit. You can see how the backpack fits. And again, it kind of reminds me of the Masterpiece Sideswipe and Red Alert, so it's not too terrible. Continuing to move around the figure. So there he is. That's what you're getting. Now, this guy really does look the part, as he should, as a piece of Bruticus. Now, the weapon, as I mentioned, it pegs in just fine. If you try and move the weapon somewhere else, like the side of his arm, the screw holes just aren't really that deep. You can fit it in his hand a bit better by opening up that bit, but the hole in the hand isn't quite wide enough. So what you end up with, even if you try, you can get it in there, but you're going to end up putting a stress mark on the thumb of the figure. So I do not recommend that you try and fit that into his hand, or you could end up breaking that bit right there over time. If I were you, I would just put the thing back, put the smaller peg in there, and let it go like that. Let's get to how articulated he is. His head is on a ball joint, so again, moves up, down, all around. His arms are on a swivel right there. You can also move the entire forearm up on the side. You also have the pivot in the elbow and the twist right below the shoulder area. And the fist also does rotate. Hands open up as I showed you. There is twist at the waist. You got a dual joint right there on the leg. Swivel above the knee, hinge at the knee, and you have a ball joint pivot on the foot. So lots of posability in your Swindle figure. If only I knew how to pose figures, and I don't, so that's all we're going to talk about with posability. Now, magical editing. I went ahead and reversed the forearms, and you can see what it looks like the other way around. This is the way he's depicted in the instructions, so you're not wrong either way. I think I prefer mine the other way with the purple color, but you know, this is certainly not unheard of and looks alright. Look at the in-plastic molding again, just more up-close shots. You can tell the time and effort that went into the design of this figure. I neglected to mention the fact that he comes with this really glossy card that has a couple of specs. He's SLY STRIKE, Armed Forces of the Warbotron, Staff Sergeant, Martial Master, and Skill, Strength, and Intelligence. It's a nice card. It's fine. So that's my review of Warbotron SLY STRIKE. Do I recommend this guy? Absolutely. If this guy fits at your budget and you really want to collect whether just an individual update to Swindle or you want the whole collection to form a giant-size Bruticus, absolutely go after these guys. All three of these pictured here are great. I'll review the other two here momentarily on my channel, but absolutely, if this is something for you, go out and get it. You won't be disappointed. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support me and my channel, the biggest thing that you can do, the biggest thing, is to just hit subscribe. All my YouTube videos, if you're watching this embedded somewhere else, is youtube.com/eBEFOREiNet. I'm on Facebook at eBEFOREi and Twitter at eBEFOREiNet. I also have this great Transformers and more group community type thing on Facebook. Look for it in the description of this video. Request an invite. I'll add you right in. Lots of great discussion going on there. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you back here again real soon.